What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Dylan back here for another recap of Sunday Night Football Week 15. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Los Angeles Rams, a game that earlier on in the season, in our preseason, was one of the most hyped up primetime matchups. And coming into this week, I didn't think it was going to be a very good game. I don't think a lot of people thought it was a very good game. Waterboy Report, Luca, I got to give him a shout out. He said the Eagles were going to get this upset, and I didn't believe him. I was making fun of him for it. But now the Philadelphia Eagles have beaten the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football 30-23. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go in depth with everything that went on, all the stats, everything that went on in this game. We're going to talk about the NFL in Week 15, all the playoff scenarios, what we thought from the rest of the games this week, and get to the comments, obviously. So stay tuned for that. I got Kevol on here tonight. No Mitch, but we do have the boy Kev, the fan favorite Kevol. Kevol, how you doing today? What are you thinking right now?
I think that this result today was the worst for both you and I.
Yes, absolutely.
Our teams.
Absolutely.
Yes. It doesn't help you or I. But I mean, we're still at 95% to get into the playoffs, and you're still in good shape anyway, but because you beat them twice, so you have to lose out and they have to win.
Yeah,
really. So for them to win, although they're one back, who knows? So the result wasn't great, but yeah, I guess from the Eagles, I guess we start from the. Do we start from the Eagles' perspective? They have some magic with Nick Foles. It's really interesting. Offensively, they found Alshon Jeffrey. They got Alshon Jeffrey involved. Zach Ertz was a factor, but Alshon Jeffrey was a factor. Golden Tate was a factor. Foles was moving the ball quite well. They were able to get running game going. Defensively, and offensively and defensively, they dominated the line of scrimmage, which is something to say with a team with Aaron Donald on it, that you dominate the line of scrimmage. But you dominated Aaron Donald and the Rams defensively. The Rams made a good comeback, but Jared Goff went to the Eli Manning School of Clock Management, and in the sense of, like, for the love of God, he took forever on some of those plays. But for a big win for the Eagles. They seemed. I'm going to just toss it out there. Don't they seem a bit more comfortable with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz? Can we start there?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, I get it, but
Foles is better than Carson Wentz. But this year, they just seem more comfortable offensively with Nick Foles.
Well, they also, I mean, the first two games were not that great either. I mean, he started the first two games. I guess they're 2-1. I guess. I mean, the thing, who does love him? Alshon Jeffrey. He absolutely loves him. Yeah. He will get as many targets and as many catches. A guy that doesn't love him is Zach Ertz, because he can never get anything. But Alshon Jeffrey, oh man, he just prays for him every single week to be the starter. I mean, in a way, they looked fluent. They looked like they were going to get this, some good plays offensively. They were making some really, big opportunities. The rush game seemed like it overwhelmed the Rams, even though there wasn't a whole lot of production. It just was like, oh, here's a clutch scenario where the rushing game needs to get it done, and they got it done. Yeah. They only scored one more point than they did last week, and Carson Wentz was the starter. I know it's comparing apples to apples there, but it's an interesting thought. I just don't know if I can say Nick Foles. That's my guy over Carson Wentz in a lot of scenarios.
No, I'm not saying that either. But it's just the way they talk. Maybe I'm missing what they're saying about. They're not saying, they don't talk the same way about Carson Wentz as they do Nick Foles.
Well, maybe because he won the Super Bowl for them. Maybe they just have that admiration. I don't know.
They just admire the guy. That might be it.
Well, maybe. I mean, and also, like, Carson Wentz, coming from injury, they're like, all right, he did all the stuff that he did last year, all the great MVP performance, and then I think he's having, that slump that he did right before it. Just kind of hurts, Every game you get criticized for it after the season you had last year. So
Well, I think the reality was he wasn't 100% at all this year.
No, absolutely not. I mean, he had a broken vertebrae in his back, and like that probably was there for weeks, and according to them, it just got worse and worse and worse. So,
yeah,
good management on the Eagles, got to say that much. But they won tonight with Nick Foles. So we're gonna look at the stats here, and let's start with Nicky baby. 24-31, 270 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Yeah, he didn't throw a touchdown, but it got the job done nonetheless. Versus Jared Goff's numbers, which I really want to talk about this guy right here. 35 of 54. Kev, you have one of the best running backs in the league, and I know you were down for quite a bit of this game, but he threw for 54 times, 339 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Last week's game, he had 1 touchdown for 4 picks, I believe. I believe that's correct. If he didn't throw a touchdown, apologies, but he had 4 picks. I know that for a fact. He's got 8 turnovers in the last 3 games. Kev, are you concerned about Jared Goff right now?
You kind of have to be, don't you? It wasn't like you look at the stats. He had what Chris Collinsworth called the LeBron James layup to Gerald Everett, who was wide open, and he missed it. He completely missed it. There was another throw he had to Gerald Everett shortly after that he completely threw behind him. I mean, yes, I will grant you he didn't have a lot of time, but he missed some pretty key throws. There wasn't like a lot of drops that I saw from the Rams receivers. I didn't think that they were that bad. And I grant you that they missed Cooper Kupp, but he kind of reminds me of Eli Manning. Doesn't he remind you a little bit of Eli Manning? I mean, Eli Manning's school of clock management.
I think maybe he went to the classes. Maybe he picked up on some things. I don't think he mastered the program. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he got the. He didn't get the A, but he went to a couple classes. He got the credit hours. I just looked at him tonight, and I what I think it really is. I think it's that if Sean McVay can't give him the right play call, he's not going to make the right play. I'm sorry. I have not seen that amazing spellbinding play from Jared Goff. And yes, this is even counting that Chiefs-Rams game where he did do really, really solid. But you look at the quarterbacks around the league, the ones that we would consider the best of the best. We're like, man, that was a great throw right there. You could pinpoint points in the season where every quarterback's had that Kodak moment or not. I don't think Jared Goff has had that moment. And I don't think he's had that moment where, as a team, maybe won with that Chiefs game. But other than that, just that moment where the team's like, Jared Goff, he's the man. He is the clutch. He's getting the job done. He's helping us win big football games. I think it is if Todd Gurley's not the main focus and you got to rely on Jared Goff, it's not going to be as successful.
Yeah, it's interesting because that Ram 2-minute offense for as high flying and as efficient we've been talking about it, that Rams last 2-minute offense that to me seemed quite discombobulated. I mean, Gurley couldn't even get out of bounds. Everett couldn't get out of bounds. Goff couldn't get plays in. There was no spike. It was really fascinating to me overall how that offense was worked. And I agree with you. I don't know if and there were times that he did audible and the Eagles were able to read what he was going to do. So I don't know. That's part of why I think the Rams are one and done, because I don't trust this guy. I don't trust Jared Goff in a clutch situation. And I think when he faces either your team or my team or the Bears, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to face whoever he's going to face. I did make a tweet, saying there's 4 defenses you don't want to face in the playoffs. And those 3 teams you mentioned are 3 of the 4 teams I don't think he wants to meet. I mean, you already saw what happened against the Bears last week. It was absolutely horrific. The Seahawks, I think they're going to stop the run game for Gurley if they ever get to it, and they're going to put on a lot of pressure. I know the Rams beat them twice, but I think there's some really good opportunities. And the Cowboys defense, I think, can make some really good pressure plays, especially with the defensive line that they have and the great linebackers. So I don't know. It really depends on the matchup in the first round. I'll talk about it in 2 weeks when we get to the playoff predictions. But as a fan, if you are a fan, I'm not saying I'm a Rams fan, but if you are a fan of the Rams, I'd be concerned with how Jared Goff's laying out this offense right now. I think he needs to take it back, realize that you're still in a good position, but you need to win like quality football games. You need to not crush under the spotlight because, again, this is 2 straight Sunday night football games where theoretically you could have won the football game and you really didn't. You didn't shine out there. In fact, you really shit the bed. 4 picks last week, 2 this week, and I think 1 touchdown. So that's going to be tough. And I don't think the Eagles' defense is all that great either. I mean, they stepped up tonight, don't get me wrong, but with all the injuries that they had, you would think Jared Goff is going to capitalize on that secondary, and he didn't. So
yeah,
that is very concerning.
Yeah.
We had the rushing game for both teams. Wendell Smallwood, 10 carries, 48 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Darren Sproles, 3 carries for 30 yards. Josh Adams, terrible stat line, 15 carries for 28 yards. He did have a touchdown, though, so I guess it's all better. Todd Gurley, 12 carries, 48 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Thank you, Josh Reynolds, for not scoring that one. Appreciate it for fantasy-wise. And then really nobody else ran for them. For the Eagles receiving game, we had Alshon Jeffrey, who, as I said in the earlier part of this video, loves Nick Foles being on the team. He had that great touchdown catch in the Super Bowl, and tonight he had 8 catches for 160 yards. Golden Tate, 5 catches, 43. Zach Ertz, not a fan of Mr. Foles, 3 catches, 22 yards, but he did get his 100th catch of the year, which is almost unheard of for tight ends. Only one other man has done it. It's my boy, Jason Witten. Receiving, Todd Gurley, again, really not helping me out in this PPR league. 10 catches for 76 yards. Robert Woods, 7 catches, 74 yards. Josh Reynolds, 5 catches, 70 yards. Brandon Cooks, 6 catches, 59 yards. Kev, what did you see out of the rushing and receiving game for both teams?
The Eagles were able to run pretty well, all things considered, especially in the second half and the third quarter when they kind of took over. The one play that was really interesting in the first half was when McVay calls the timeout at 3rd and 5, thinking that they're going to get the ball back. And Foles throws a nice pass to Jeffrey to get the first down and gets them in. But then the Rams came back and scored, and it was tied at 13. I just felt like the Eagles, in terms of running, I feel like Gurley was really all that effective. I mean, the stats show that, but it wasn't beastly, and he did leave the game for a bit with an injury, which I think is concerning a little bit for the Rams going forward. I wonder how much he's going to play 2 weeks.
It depends. I still think they need to get that win to get the first round bye. I think that's the number one focus. So I think he'll play week 16, but if they get the dub, don't even worry about week 17.
Josh Adams wasn't great. I mean, people forgot about Wendell Smallwood, and he all of a sudden appeared. Darren Sproles made a couple of nice runs. Is he 106 years old right now? How old is Darren Sproles? Okay, yeah, it's please. That was something. My big concern coming out of this is Gurley's health. He didn't look too healthy, and if I'm a Rams fan, I'm a little bit concerned about that. You have to win that game next week against. It's almost a must-win that they beat San Fran next week at home. And I'm going to tell you that's may or may not be easy. I don't know.
Okay, so Rams do play the 49ers next week?
Yes, in LA.
After their win tonight or today, I mean, you never know. Maybe that was, I don't know, maybe it was the 49ers just trying to get a win for Richard Sherman, the big Seahawks. I don't know. That was some crazy stuff. But I think they should, in essence, get the victory. If they don't, I'm really concerned. Like, I'm pretty concerned, but I'm, like, amazingly concerned if they don't get the dub next week. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It really didn't seem like – I saw the injury. I mean, it kind of looked decently bad, but I think he was still out there to make the plays, so it wasn't terribly concerning. But
if you can get that bye and you can get him, I think that will help in the playoffs.
Rob says that the Niners play the Rams week 17, not 16. They play the Bears next week.
Correct that, because it looked like from what I felt it was next week. So let me confirm.
They play the Cardinals at Arizona next week.
Next week? Okay. Well, that's an easy win for them.
Yeah. Again, I'll be even more concerned if they can't beat the Cardinals next week. But yeah, they'll get the dub there. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like, they were given this opportunity on a big spotlight again, and it really didn't show out. Let's go back to the defensive side with our stats here. I got to load it back up again, but
let's talk about this Rams defense that was supposed to be so.
It was bad. It was terrible today. Terrible.
For a line that has Aaron, and I'm first of all, I'm going to be clear on how I'm saying this. I'm not blaming Aaron Donald. This guy is a beast. I'm not but I mean, the Eagles did a pretty good job containing him. But I did not hear Dante Fowler's name once tonight. Nope. Did you?
No,
I did not hear Sue's name once tonight.
I heard it one time when he was trying to make a big hit on that big throw, and that was it.
That was about it. Talib was okay. I felt like their secondary got burnt a little tonight. I mean, that Rams defense, that's an area that can, for me, the biggest weakness on the Rams, I mean, other than not trusting Jared Goff, is that defense over, because maintain Aaron Donald, you can stay on the field, which puts that Rams offense in the water cooler, and you can have Todd Gurley sit on that bench for as long as you can. You can win.
Why is it that Marcus Peters has been one of the worst cornerbacks this season? How has there been such a big decline from one season to the next? I have no idea how.
Well, maybe Andy Reid saw something in this guy, and that's why they traded him.
I mean, but that just goes from he was still a good player last year to being a bottom 5 cornerback. He's been terrible. He's been giving up multiple big plays down the field this year. Nick Foles had 2 throws of 40 to 50 yards, where it's literally just a chuck ball. The guys, the defensive linemen, are pushing him to his neck to get a tackle on him, and yet they still completed. How? Aqib Talib, he got an interception. He was good tonight, but freaking Joyner was terrible. Not very good tonight. Marcus Peters was atrocious. Roby Coleman, where was he? I mean, he's been pretty good all year, but he didn't show up today. The big thing is the Rams defense doesn't only just give up, they're not a team that's a bend, don't break. They give up huge plays, a lot. And that's second, if their defensive line does not get the pressure that they want, you can get the weakness on the secondary. Because I even think their linebackers are decent. Corey Littleton, I think, had the best defensive game for them tonight. He played really solid.
He was okay. Yeah.
Abu Khan, he's good. He didn't play great tonight, but he's still a good linebacker. Josh Johnson, he's good. He's solid. But if you get to that secondary, you're able to make those throws, which is exactly what I think is the same with the Chiefs defense. If you can get to that secondary, you're going to make a play. So
the name I heard most tonight was Jerron Johnson, and I mean he was quite active tonight. But
yes,
yeah. And then the special teams, it wasn't even, he wasn't even touched. It was.
How do you do that?
I don't know how it came out of his hand. But.
Was he? Well, first of all, they had 2 of the worst turnovers I think I've seen all year, because not only that happened where it was a phantom one, it was Jared Goff trying to lateral it while he's getting tackled behind his back. I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
That was
as bad as Wilson last week.
Almost as bad as what?
It was Russell Wilson's last week on Monday night.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. This fumble kind of reminded me, it wasn't the same, but when Jameis Winston fumbled in the game against Oregon in the playoffs, he's slipping around, and then he falls and throws it up in the air, and then it's intercepted for a touchdown or a fumble, one of the two. Just terrible. How do you make that play? Just fall down. Don't make laterals. And nobody do a lateral unless it's the last play of the game. Okay, Miami knows. Don't do that shit. It's dumb. But yeah, I mean, that one was very costly though. When you have it right there, what was it? 3 minutes left in the game. You're going to be able to go down the field and not only have to speed it up, you can take your sweet time in trying to get a touchdown. You can make the plays even with no timeouts. You have the advantage to try to take this thing in overtime, and you come up with a costly fumble that, had the Eagles just made a field goal, would have ended the game. but we got to more dramatics at the end. So
okay, so I'm going to bring this up here.
okay.
I'm going to explain this more because you didn't name this, but I that the Eagles should have went for it on fourth down. And I'll explain this a little bit more.
I don't understand that.
But a field goal and misses it, moves it back. A punt is 50-50, maybe. I mean, punt maybe at the 20. If you don't make it, if you at least move the ball further up, it gives them a longer field. And if you can make it somehow, the game's over.
But if you make the field goal, the game is over. There's no question about this field goal being over. You would think that Jake Elliott, who has been pretty decent all year, would make that field goal, right? It was what a 50-yard field goal?
Twice in what were they saying? He missed twice on that side during warm-up. So the field goal was actually the worst of the three decisions.
But no coach, no head coach is going to be ballsy enough to go, let's go for fourth down right here. Like
I think Tom would have done it, and I think Bill Belichick would have done it.
I don't think he would. I honestly do not think he would. I get the sense that if you make it, the game is over. But like you're just handing them the ball right there if you don't. And the field goal, you're trusting your kicker, who it should be good. He should do his damn job and make the field goal and get the job done. But he missed it. If I'm a coach, I'm trusting the guy that's supposed to be clutch in this moment. 4th and 9 is not a short gallop and a skip to grandma's house. It's not very short. Because all the Rams are going to do is place 5 or 7 people to the outside, or they're going to plant them right at the line of scrimmage, and nothing's going to get past them unless they're just absolutely atrocious.
Well, still, even if you move it a little bit, with the time left, they had no timeouts left. I don't know. You risk getting a block. I don't know. I think the field goal is the worst of the three decisions.
But if you make it, then it's game over. Like, I know we're talking about that he missed it and everything, but if you get 5 yards, it's 5 yards. Like, that's – I know they don't have timeouts, but that's chump change. Just get that out of bounds. That's it. Like –
well, they obviously couldn't get anything out of bounds.
Well, they made a great tackle at the end, I would say that. But, like, if you're getting a kick for a field goal, you're going to win the game. You should have the confidence in your kicker to do so. You just didn't make it. That's why I think it was the best decision. 4th and 9 is a pretty bold call there. I wouldn't have called it. But, hey, it didn't matter anyway. The Rams lost to the Eagles. You did bring up the fact that this is bad for both of us in terms of the playoffs. It doesn't help us in any way. But I'm pretty sure both of us are going to be pretty okay going forward here. But let's talk about the rest of the NFL. We did have some pretty interesting things happen today, Kev, that we have not been able to talk about here. And then we'll get the chat, guys. Don't worry about that. Let's talk about actually, do you want to bring up something? What's that?
You should win. You should be fine. You've got the Bucs and the Giants.
We should be fine. I just don't trust my offense worth the goddamn. I'll talk about them later. But let's talk about the Patriots and the Steelers game. The very interesting big matchup here between two teams that have formed somewhat of a big rivalry in the AFC. And the Patriots finally got a big dub, a huge dub. Kev, what'd you see out of that game?
I saw a couple of things that I do think is interesting. I mean, Mitch has tweeted the Patriots are not the same on the road, but it just felt. I don't know if Brady was terrible or if Brady is feeling like he has to carry this team. Because it just, like, he made it that was a really unusual throw that, like, Brady just doesn't do on that interception.
That was a bad throw, a horrible
throw. Like, 98% of the time, Tom Brady will make a great play. It's not like that. I think that the Brady is taking a step back, But I wonder if Tom Brady is feeling like he needs to do more than he actually does, because I haven't seen a lot of James White lately. I think that they're missing how they're using him. I think Chris Hogan Gronkowski had 1 target in the first half.
Yep.
That Jim Nantz forgot at one point. Like the receiver core is not as strong as we thought that they were. And for the Steelers, I think the one thing that I do, for all of the Antonio Brown and the Ben Roethlisberger and all of Le'Veon Bell and all Juju Smith-Schuster and all the offensive guys that we talk about, we don't talk enough about that offensive line, which might be one of the best in football. I mean, they've gotten Bell 100 yards. They've gotten Connor 100 yards. And now they got Jalen Samuel, who never got 100 yards in his life, 100 yards today. So I think maybe offense deserves some credit for that. And really kudos to Ben and Tomlin for, Ben never had less than an 8-win season. And Tomlin never been under 500 as well, so kudos to them. I think it's a big win for the Steelers franchise. I think they really needed this win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not convinced the Steelers are on the way up. I'm concerned about the Patriots. I'm not going to lie. I don't think that I think that there's this defense is taking a bit of a step back. Their offense isn't as skilled, and I don't think it's clear that they're not the same team on the road than they are at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. They do. I think that this is a team that needs bye. But
yeah. I think they'll probably beat the 6th seed, whoever the 6th seed is. But you never know. I mean, if the 6th seed is the Ravens, they've had their trouble against the Ravens.
Yeah,
they've had their struggles. The good thing for the Patriots is that their next 2 games are at home, so that's a positive. They're 6-0 at home. They're 3-5 on the road. That's official. That won't change for the regular season. That's done. What's interesting to me is that the last 4 games of the Patriots in 2017 and the last 4 games of 2018 were the exact same 4 opponents. I find that just oddly strange. Even if, seriously, the exact same order, not even just the teams, the exact same order of weeks. But when I was looking at this game, I was like, okay, I'm interested to see how the Steelers, I think they prepare for this game a lot. It's one of those Jeff Fisher games to me where they're like, all right, we have focused our mindset here. But I think they had some extra motivation in the fact they've lost 3 in a row. Like they really, really needed this game. The play calling was solid for the Steelers. The Patriots, they didn't even score. They just scored a touchdown on the 3rd play of their offensive side of the ball and then never scored a touchdown again. Like, that's just not Brady, Belichick era-esh. That's not what we normally see. I think they just struggled in making the best decisions. I think their defense overwhelmed them in the play calling. I don't think that's what the Patriots were expecting. I think Belichick was like, okay, we know what the Steelers defense gives us a lot. We're going to roll with that. But they kind of changed it up and realized this hasn't worked for the past 5 years. So let's go with something different. And it worked out pretty well. I know they didn't get a sack until the 3rd quarter, but they made the plays when necessary and had to get it done. They put pressure on Brady, which I think this year in particular has shown that Brady does not like a whole lot of pressure. He's not going to throw the ball in that kind of situation a lot of times. That one interception was the worst throw I've seen him throw all year. It was a terrible throw. I'm not saying he's going to make that play every time. He won't because he's a better quarterback than that, but in that situation, you're just kind of lobbing it up in the air and seeing what's going to happen. And it turned out to be pretty deadly. That last throw to Edelman really confused me. I don't understand why he kind of threw that. It looked like a Hail Mary attempt almost for 20 yards out, which was really weird to me. Deron Harmon continues to be the clutch master of the 4th quarter. He got another interception. Just want to point that out. But
4 against the Steelers in his career.
And it always comes at, like, the most opportune times. Like, the 4th quarter one that he had, I'm like, dude, come on. Stephon Gilmore made the effort to get that, and then he's just right there, ready to catch it. Unbelievable. Yeah. But more than anything else, I just think the Steelers outplayed the Patriots. The Patriots tried their best to get something going, and the Steelers outmatched them. Would it happen again if they meet in the playoffs? Question mark. I don't know, but the Steelers have a winning formula in hand. If they can do that again, that would be huge. But it will help us with the fact that the Steelers will win the AFC North. I know both. I think I said it. I don't know if you said it.
I did say it. I was tempted to pick the Ravens, but I did pick the Steelers.
Okay. But well, I mean, like, even a couple weeks ago, we're like, oh, I think the Ravens could win the AFC North. You know, that's the thing. The worst loss
to win the AFC North.
Say that again.
We were thinking that we were joking that the Browns have a medical chance to win the AFC North.
The only way they can get in now is even worse because of the Steelers' victory. Like I know there's like a couple of things that have to happen, but the biggest one is that the Colts and the Titans have to exactly tie in Week 17. So I'm sorry, Browns fans, you're still mathematically alive, but by the slimmest of hopes. But hey, it took 15. It took by the end of this, it's going to take 16 weeks for them to be out of the playoff conversation.
Yeah,
that's a huge positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just interested to see how this Patriots team bounces back. I know they got two pretty easy games in the Bills and the Jets, but it's also divisional opponents that want to try hard and beat their divisional rivals. So you never know. But I did predict in the preseason before I did the video they were going to be 11-5. So maybe I saw this coming. I don't know. I didn't see it coming, but it is what it is.
Because I saw some Pat fans tweeting this, and I'm just curious.
Okay.
I feel that you will look at this from an objective point of view.
Mm-hmm.
How was the ref in that
game? I think it was so-so. I think there was some calls that I'm like really, I don't think that was like very necessary. You know, like I saw some holding calls. I'm like, whatever. But then there were some plays I'm like, that's going to be called no matter if it's the Patriots or the fucking, the Seahawks, whatever it is. They're going to call that play regardless. I think there was probably 2 or 3 bad calls. I'm like, I see where they're coming from. I see the hatred. But then other times I'm like, dude, it's going to get called everywhere else in the league. So, but at the end of the day, even if you call those bad plays, the Patriots had way too many penalties on themselves. They shot themselves in the foot, which is something you can't blame on the refs. Like your team is getting bad false starts when their drive is going, or they're making a bad holding call on the defense on a 3rd and down. Not good. Let's see what else happened in the the Patriots unless the Dolphins make a miracle, they're going to win the AFC.
Yeah, they'll win the AFC. Don't worry about that. The Dolphins. The Dolphins have one of the worst point takeaways of a team of the 500 ever. I heard that stat today. I was like, what?
They're so bad. Like, they're honestly really, really bad. We saw what happened with the Vikings last week, and then I'm like, well, I mean, they're going to win, but they're not going to win great. But then they fucking destroyed them. So,
yeah,
insane. This is interesting. Houston moves into the 2nd seed with this Patriots loss. What do you think about that, Kev?
I still don't trust Houston.
I knew that was coming.
I don't trust them. I don't know. I still feel that the Patriots could probably go in there and beat them because I just haven't seen Houston get that success. But their defense balled yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They are able to get sacks. If J.J. Watt is on, it's going to be tough. If they can keep Watson upright, things they look good. But I don't think that they've really beaten anybody significant this year. That's the problem. They lost to the Patriots at the beginning of the season. That was a signature game, and they lost. They beat the Titans. They beat the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were not the same that they were the second half of the season. I just don't. They haven't beat anybody super awesome.
No, and what really solidified it for me was that Colts game last week, where they didn't get the victory, where they really could have afforded to win that game. Again, to me, with the Texans, I think it's basically a scenario, like a game opportunity. if they get the bye, let's say they get the bye, and they play, I'm trying to think who would be in this. So the 3rd seed would be the Patriots right now, 6th seed would be the Ravens, and the 4th seed would be the Steelers, and the 5th seed would be
the Chargers.
Well, then the Chargers, I think, would beat the Steelers. So that would mean the Chargers would play the Texans, and I think the Chargers can beat the Texans.
If the Ravens beat the Patriots?
I don't think the Ravens beat the Patriots. The Patriots would go on to play
the Texans, because that would be 3-2.
Oh, that's right.
You're
right. So we would be at a Patriots-Texans.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they can win either. I mean, Deshaun Watson is going to have to lead that game more than anything else. I think their defense can play okay. They don't make some plays, but it's going to come down to what their quarterback can do. Because do not give me money on Lamar Miller. One game it's hot, one game it's not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the guy can run for 98, but he can also run for -10.
It's a frustrating world out there for Texans fans, but for Lamar Miller case. But I mean, you never know. I mean, again, all it takes is one big game. All it takes is one really solid game to get it done. The thing is you got to make it count when it counts. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. But that is big, and we haven't even decided the AFC West. We have 2 11-3 teams in the AFC West. Which, if the Chargers win and the Kansas City loses to Seattle next week, that's huge. That's drastically changing what we thought were the Chiefs, the number 1 solidified number 1 seed, all the way down to the 5th seed. Like, that would be crazy. So
and there's 2 ways that we could look at this. We could have it that 2 teams that have got off to such hot starts blow their opportunity for a bye going into the playoffs.
Yep.
Or we could have the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship in Los Angeles.
That's going to be a scheduling nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically, they're in different arenas, but that would just be like, oh. By the way, StubHub Arena loses their rights to that name in 2 weeks, so it's going to be named something different before the playoffs start. I just want everybody to know that. It won't be the StubHub Center anymore. It's like some weird like power plant crap. I don't know. But get your tickets before they run out.
10 games.
What's that?
Do Rams fans attend the games?
I was thinking about this specifically in this game because I believe it was a challenge on an incompletion and the Ram. Oh no, it was the fake punt. Right?
Yeah.
And they ruled it complete and then challenged it and ruled it incomplete. And as soon as the reaction came, I heard cheers, like 2/3 cheers. I'm like, we're in LA. Philadelphia is the other side of the country. What do you mean? So the answer is no, which is sad because both of these teams have a combined 22-6 record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can somebody adopt them, please?
Yeah.
Please.
Hashtag adopt a Ram.
Somebody needs the help. I mean, Father Hawk over here, he can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, that's not fair. Somebody, please. But anybody. I technically I can borrow the Chargers, or Mitch can borrow the Chargers. We both said they were going to be great, but God Almighty, help this team. Help this city. They got 5. Well, I guess they got 2 baseball teams. They show up to the games.
Yeah, Dodgers fans well attended. 2 hockey teams, 2 basketball teams, 2 football teams.
And they all attend every game. They attend, even the Clippers games. I know the Clippers are doing well this season, but like attendance is still going to show up there no matter what. But nope, I guess not. And it really doesn't help out for the Rams specifically because the Coliseum can fit 100,000 people.
Yeah.
So that's just really depressing. StubHub can fit like 16,000. So
yeah.
That's also insanely depressing. But it was like the Vikings a couple years ago. They had to play at like their college, University of Minnesota, and it was freezing cold every game. That was the.
I remember that game.
That was the Blair Walsh kick.
Blair Walsh's disaster. Yes.
There's 2 kickers we do not talk about in Minnesota. It's Blair Walsh and it's Gary Anderson. All right, I don't want to hear him.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. By the way, that's an episode of How I Met Your Mother, if anybody knows. All right, let's get to the chat, and then we will head out of here. We talked about a good amount of football today, but I do want to get to the chat before anything else. Robot Guy starts us off. He says Rams will be done in one and done, which is a...
Yes, I've made this statement. They're one and done.
That is a Kev Ole prediction for sure. Willie with the fly, Eagles fly comment. Raisin Brand says Saints are...
I do want to ask a question if you're the Eagles.
Okay.
Do you draft a quarterback?
No. The reason you have to have trust in your guy. You have to have trust in your guy.
He's not healthy.
But he's the second pick in the draft. Like, I mean, I don't know how big their injury, how big it is. Like, what did they say, 3-month recovery time? I think that's what I heard from Schefter. That's February. That's February, March. The quarterback class isn't even that great this year, Kev. If they're in the position that they're at, which would probably be the 15th, 16th pick, somewhere around that territory, they'd have to trade up probably to get the kid from Oregon, Herbert, which I don't even think is really worth it to them, or Will Grier, because I think that there's somebody out there that's going to pick both of them in the first round early, in the top 15.
Do you trade for a quarterback? Foles was not coming back.
Yeah, he's definitely not coming back. I would look at the market. Free agent, I'm going to say free agency also no, because there's not a lot of good quarterbacks out in free agency. I think the best one coming out this year is Teddy Bridgewater, who I like, but is not the Eagles' formula. It's not their scheme whatsoever. Trade-wise, I'd look into it, but I do not think they would make a deal.
I have a guy I think they should consider.
Who's that?
Nick Mullins.
Really? You're telling me you would get rid of Carson Wentz for Nick Mullins?
No, I'm not saying you get rid of Carson Wentz. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think you need to have some sort of cushion behind him because there's a possibility he's injury prone.
So you want a reliable backup?
Yes.
As a backup, I'm not opposed to that situation. But I also want Carson Wentz to get one more year. You know, I want him to have that opportunity. If it happens again, if we see another big time injury, we'll have to consider it. But right now, I'm more confident in them keeping with their plan. So,
I do like Nick Mullins, and I know that you've spent so much money on Jimmy G that you're not gonna get rid of Jimmy G now.
Absolutely not.
49ers, but Nick Mullins deserves an opportunity to play in this league next year. I will say that.
Sorry, my content messed up. He'll definitely get the opportunity. When a time comes, some team is going to be like, hey, we need a backup option. Hell, the Jaguars should look at him as a backup option. I mean, God almighty, they got Cody Kessler throwing balls and screwing us over.
He's better than Bortles. I'll say that.
He is. He honestly is. But some people are like, oh my God, that's not true. You guys are overreacting. No, it's true. Like,
yeah.
Have you not seen Blake Bortles this year?
Yeah.
Well, now you can't because he's been benched.
Jordan Reed, or it was Jordan Reed, because Jordan Reed was in the backfield a lot in the fourth quarter, but Jordan Reed hit Nick Mullins right in the chest, and he still threw a dart to someone today. I was just like, wow. And he didn't make the catch. The guy didn't make the catch, but that guy is going to sit in there, and he's going to make some tough throws. So I just think this is a guy that deserves a shot. I'm not saying that he's a high echelon number one NFL starter, but I do think this is a guy that I do think deserves a shot. And I think he can start on a lot of teams.
And when he was given the opportunity to do that on primetime, he made the most out of it with that first win. So I think people will give him the opportunity. They'll give him a call. They will definitely give him a call, especially the Brett Favre sponsor.
Yeah.
I think that helps. Nick Foles, the GOAT, of course. Let's see. Sean's questioning why the hell did Goff throw those really crappy interceptions?
Goff isn't that good.
He's not. I mean, I think this is the thing we've all been trying to say for this season. Like, we're like, Goff is not great. And then they're like, oh, but Goff is going to make these plays, and then, you're not giving him the credit and the respect that he's due. But, like, have you seen him? Like, when he's on, he's pretty solid. Like, he can make some good throws, but he's not going to throw amazing highlight reel plays. But when he's bad, he's really, really bad. Like, really bad. It's bad. Rob says Rams are one loss away from dropping the 3rd seed. Yeah.
That is entirely possible. Mm-hmm. But I can't see them losing to Arizona and San Francisco. I just can't. I can't do both.
No. I'll keep it what it is. Let's see. Chiefs will get schooled by Russell Wilson, says Sean, next week.
That's a huge game. That's a much bigger game than we thought.
It's a massive game. I did not think it was going to be a great game coming into the season. I'll tell you that much. Might have to stream that game. That'll be an interesting one. I don't even know what Chiefs talk about in that comment. Scroll a little bit. Bodo did send us $10 in the chat. Thank you. And Brady is the GOAT. And he's talking about Brady isn't the GOAT, but he is the GOAT, so that's funny. Trying to find some good ones. We have the Steelers and Saints next week. That's an interesting matchup.
That'll be a good game. That'll be a very good game.
I do want to see what the Saints put out tomorrow, but that's going to be a hell of an interesting game. I actually think that game tomorrow is going to be pretty close. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a close game, like 27-23, something like that.
We need to win this game. Like they've got to pull out all the stops.
Who? Panthers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've lost 5 in a row. They need a confidence booster somehow, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think it could be a really close game. Let's see here. Rams versus Patriots Super Bowl, no matter what the record is, says Lamar Jackson. That is his guess, his prediction. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I do not think that's going to happen. Can we still go for a Rams Chiefs Super Bowl? I just want to see that too. Like, that would be the greatest duet or number 2 sequel in the history.
Yeah.
All the records would be broken, and every defensive fanatic would go crazy. They would not stop crying. Another $10 from Bodo. Thank you, Bodo. The generosity today. Yeah, one thing we got to talk about for sure is that in the Steelers game, they double-teamed the crap out of Gronk. They played great defense on him. They know how good he is against them, and they didn't even go to him to the fourth quarter. He didn't have a catch to the fourth quarter. So that was important in that game for sure. Seattle will have a loud fan base for their game. Yep, that is true. That is true. In their home game next week. Bodo says the Panthers are done. D-U-N-E. That's the key word. If anybody can find that, I still want to find the origin of that. I don't know. Bodo says the Browns will win the NFC North next year, or AFC North next year. What do you think?
Actually, that's my prediction. I'm going to say it too. I think the Browns might win the AFC North next year.
Ooh, it's definitely one I like. I mean, Baker is a dangerous man. And by the way, I know I just want to bring this up every time we talk about the Browns, but can we bring up how bad Hugh Jackson is again? This man had the chips on the table. He finally had a good team because every time he wants to go to the press, he's like, my team sucks. My players didn't do their jobs right. We didn't get it done collectively. And then this season, he has all the players, and they don't do any. Like, they lose. He continues to lose. Then gets fired. Then comes in Greg Williams, and they're 4-2 in their last 6 games.
And the Bengals won their first game with Hugh Jackson today.
Wow. It only took them, this is his 6th game, I think?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. By the way, can Marvin Lewis get fired too? Please. This man's been
Yeah.
a head coach.
Marvin Lewis is employed, but
This man's been employed for 15 of my 19 years of life. He has been I just want to put this in the context. He's been a head coach in the NFL since I was in grade school, since I started school. And I'm in the second year of college. This man still does not have a playoff win. You know how sad that is, Kev?
That's very sad.
That's insanely sad. Oh my!
By the way, I'm going to say it. Mike McCarthy might be the coach of the Broncos next year.
I would be intrigued by that scenario. I don't
actually use the noodle.
I don't know if he would fit the system, but I would definitely be intrigued by how he would take that situation. I feel like he would have to go to a head coaching team with a little bit more promise. Like if you're Mike McCarthy, I feel like you want to be in a better situation than what the Denver Broncos are doing right now. I don't know. But also I don't think he has many opportunities. So, you're going to take what you're going to get, but maybe. All depends on your boy Elway. Let's see here. Bears will be the Vikings week 17. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that one. A lot of comments, guys. A lot of comments. Trust me, it's hard to get in there. I don't know what I said. Go Lakers. Yeah, Flacco's benched for the rest of the year. I still think it's a great decision. And apparently he's not coming back. Apparently they are done with Joe Flacco, which I think they got out at the exact right time. Giants. And I think they made the right decision. So, apparently the Giants are going to stick with Eli for 2019, Kev. Can you believe it?
That's great. That's great.
As a Cowboys fan, go ahead. Go right ahead and do it. As a NFL fan, are you serious? I do not understand this football organization.
They watched the game today, right?
Where he got shut out?
Yeah, absolutely shut out.
By the way, this is the first time the Cowboys and the Giants got shut out in the same game ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
But I think the
Eagles game, the NFC East, had 16 points today, and it was all from Washington.
All from Washington. And they won.
Yes. How about Josh Johnson?
First quarterback taken in the AAF league, which I apparently didn't know it was going to be broadcasted on CBS. I had no idea that was going to be a broadcast. That's a heck of a good start to their franchise. Or their league. Yeah, league. So nice job, Josh Johnson. He's got legs. He can make plays with his legs. He'll be the Tommy Maddox of the XFL or of the AAF in this case. He will be amazing there for some reason. Quarespoto is being salty. Let's see. Yeah, Josh Gordon didn't show up either. That's true. And yeah, that is it for comments, guys. That is all that we got here today. We talked about a good amount of stuff from the NFL, and I'm very intrigued with the next 2 weeks. We still got one more game this week, but we have 33 more total games left of football to play before the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Wait, that's December 30th. Yeah, December 30th. So before the end of the year, we'll get our playoff spots. But yeah, that's going to do it for me and Kev. I hope you guys enjoyed. Smash the like button. If you weren't here on the live stream, but you were watching afterwards, comment below your thoughts on the Eagles, Rams, and any other team in the NFL that you want to talk about. Subscribe to the Bottom Line View. We've been doing very, very positively over the last couple of weeks. We're now at 6,242 subscribers. So keep that keep that rolling and keep us, help us out there. It really does help. We appreciate all the love there. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure Mitch only is going to be doing Monday Night Football. I'll have to talk to him about that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it has been fun. And subscribe for more NFL content. I'll have a solo video out Tuesday for you guys now that I'm off of class for 5 weeks. So,
nice.
Yeah, definitely helps. Especially right now with the playoffs, Tom. I got to watch all this good content. So, for Kev of the Bottom Line View, it's Dylan. Peace out.
Peace.